good?
I don't know. Yep.
Alright, so I'm not going to the eliciting thing, but what I would do is I would basically say I would want you to take a moment and think about everything that goes into learning how to walk, and that would be kind of the start of everything, and then we would do a concept web to try to get the whole concept of balance out. So, they could say feet, they could say, practice or whatever, but the whole concept would be to try to get to balance as one of the components of the web. Then from there I would say I would want to focus on balance, and then I would have everybody stand up to do a balancing activity. So we can do this real quick. This one's pretty easy. But everybody would stand up. Then I would go into, I would ask all the children, what are we doing right now? What's special about us? Then can somebody tell me about balance right now? So I would ask the children.
Equal balance on each foot.
Yep.
Equal weight on each foot.
So that's what I would try to get to, and then I would move into stability and talk about stability and equal balance in each foot means that we're stable. And then what I would have you do is then I would have you, I would tell the children that I would have you to raise one foot up. But before we do it, we're going to predict what's going to happen. So I would ask the kids, and they would make the predictions. I would write it down, and then the kids would do it. And then I would ask them, well, what happened when you lift your leg up? And then we would move into a conversation about being unbalanced and being unstable. And then from there, the last one is actually standing up. And then I would give them some mass, like something heavy, like a textbook or like a ream of paper or something like that. So they would have to balance themselves and the paper, and have them move into different spots and see how they change their center of balance and their mass, how mass affects that. So that's kind of what I would do to kind of really engage them. And then once we're done with the engaging part, we would move into the actual exploration. So I would start off with saying, I want you guys to think about why we are wiggling around when we're balancing on one foot, and then what happens when we started moving the mass around, to really get them to start focusing on the center of mass. So after that, I'd like everybody to take one paper towel tube, one ruler, and the first thing I'd like you to do is try to take the paper towel tube and lean it off of the table and try to find the center of balance. If you look at the white tape, that's kind of where the center of balance is. So somewhere in that white, there's a center of balance. What do you see with this piece right now?
What was that?
What do you see with the center of balance and?
It's not touching anything aside from the edge.
Okay. Well, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to measure the distance that is left on the table. And I actually forgot about this. I forgot to talk about this too. I would have them use their science notebook as well. So it would be a chart like this where they would record their information. So the left side, the right side, and then the measurement for what's left on the table. So there's a correlation. So paper towels measurement left. There's zero pieces of paper towel in there on each side, and then what's that measurement? So Zach, can you do that for me real quick? Actually.
Sure. 14 and a half.
So keep it balanced. Okay. It's alright, you can just leave it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take one piece of paper towel, okay, and we're going to put it into your tubing on the side that's hanging off.
Oh boy.
Okay? You can take it off if you need to, just to get it in there, but then you can rebalance it after. So here's one piece. And before you measure it, well, actually, I forgot to tell you that we were going to predict what would happen. So what do you predict would happen when you try to rebalance it?
I have to push it further out table.
Yep. push it further out into the table,
Like
or
Back onto the table.
back onto the
onto
table.
the table.
Okay. And just get it to balance. It doesn't have to be on the white. So now you measure it again.
Like 16.
Yeah. Centimeters, eh?
So after we've got that now, what did you notice about the first one compared to the one with a piece of paper towel?
It's more
Like more
on the table.
of paper towel rolls on the table.
Yep. So, and that, well, I'm not going to actually go into that. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take another piece of paper towel and we're going to put it on the same side and see what happens. I want you to predict what will happen now.
We're gonna have to go even further onto the table.
Back on the table.
So you're gonna leave that rectangle. Okay, now you guys can grab your utensil.
You actually do have to scrunch it up, and what I want you to do is scrunch it up actually, so to a ball, and then put it in.
Ew, you did.
I wasn't lying.
Is it alive? Wow, is it heavy?
Oh wow, we're way back on the table.
So take your measurement.
How long was it in there for? Some Sunday on the 3 days.
Mine's a little bit more like 18.
Ooh, mine's 17 and a half.
So what are we
17.
what are we seeing right now?
Getting bigger and bigger. Or less and less off the table.
And I want you guys to
So I would continue that with 2 more. I don't know if we want to. Let's just get right to 4 real quick, and just do that one. I would do just the 3 as well.
soil, and then I put a leaf, and you might want to turn.
Do you have 4?
Yeah, let's see if this fits.
Yeah, you have to kind of squish it.
What do you have?
What? Don't use anchor now.
19.
Yeah, like 18 and a half.
Because mine is very large.
So after we've explored what happens with all the paper towel on one side, I want you to now kind of mix and match, play it. If you have 1 on one side, if you have 3 on the other side, if you have 2 on each side, you decide what you want to do. Do 3 observations. So, do you want to just do that?
Yeah.
And then I have a long poking object as well.
What grade are we in, B? It looks a little dangerous.
3rd. Kids can't measure, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to do 3rd.
Do you want me to, for this, what do you...
Oh, like, so each one, it's like, I had, and let's just pretend this is the left side. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Whatever it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So this, I did 1 and 3. Switch it right. Like there's 1 on this side and 3 on
So whatever the measurement becomes.
Okay.
So if you, so how many was on this one? The first one was 3.
That was 1. Or no, that was when it was equal.
Okay.
And this is 1.
So put 0 and 0.
0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 4. So now we're going to do...
So if you see what he just did, and then the association to it. So now I'd like you to
We're doing 1 and 3.
record that as well, and do it 2 more times. So as they're going around too, I would go just ask, what are you seeing right now? Like, what did you try? Why are you trying that? So like for the last one you just did, why did you just try what you did? What did you just do?
1 and 3.
Why did you try that?
Because I wanted to know. I don't know. Because
Which side was the one on actually?
it was on the table.
Okay, the one was on the table, and then the 3 was on the table.
Yeah. Now we're doing 2 and 2. See if it's the same as 0, 0.
And I found a really long worm.
It is. That's weird. That's crazy.
Can you put them in the middle? Do they should be on the end? Maybe like a little in from the end? Or do they should be right on the end?
It's up to you at this point now. So the first 4 were.
Yeah, I got the two over here. Like, kind of. So this one's like right there. I think that was 3. That's 3. Okay, I'm like, how many are in there?
It was like no one put there. Yeah, so organic matter is
13 and
either one living or
Okay. So now that everybody's finished, let's take a look at our data. What happened when we started putting more paper towels in the sheet, in the paper tube?
Point of balance changed.
Yep, how did it change?
You had to put more paper towel on the table to counterbalance the weight that's put on the other end.
Okay. When we made our predictions, I actually forgot to make you guys make your predictions as you went. How were your predictions? Were they right? Were you accurate with your predictions?
Very.
pretty close. Yeah.
And then you actually answered the last question. It's like, what do you think caused the change? And then it goes back to, let's look back at when we were standing up. Did some of the same principles with your center of balance, your center of mass, apply when you were trying to balance on one foot? Is that the reason we were wiggling?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
They went like there.
Because as we were trying to wiggle this thing around, that's what we're trying to do too. So when you're wiggling this thing around, it's kind of like when you're wiggling around to try and find your center of balance. And then I would move into kind of how the elaboration part. It's like, why did we do this? The reason we did this was to look at how center of balance is really important from a building standpoint. Because 2 days before I would have talked about buildings and materials and stuff like that. So I would have moved into that and just said, buildings really need to have a good center of balance. Because what happens in a building if you don't have a good center of balance? If you have too much mass on one side, what could possibly happen?
Building will tip over.
If the building wouldn't have a good center of balance, and it could tip over, something could happen to the building. And what happens if a building tips over or something happens to the building? People can get hurt. So it becomes a safety issue. So that's the reason when we design a building, we really need to focus on its center of balance. Because if it's unstable, things could end up happening where people get hurt. And that's kind of where I would end. And then I would use their student notebooks and then these evaluations to be able to, not the evaluations, the record keeping, to be able to document whether the students understood. So if they were able to do what Zach did with the 2 and 2 at the end, they would be able to understand that they need to be able to have equal balance on each side in order to maintain the center balance. Or they would understand the concept of center balance because they're able to do it. So.
Perfect.
Today we learned what is in your soil.